Just move on up. My peace of mind into the steeple of beautiful people.
I love this. So I have all kinds of ideas. The problem you'll have when we get up there is you need to shut up and stop talking. I'm here to help as well as the team, and this is my passion, is to help each of you grow. So, TikTok. The platform is as vibrant as ever. There's only one TikTok. Our community creators and everyday users are not only here to stay, but are thriving. They're creating culture every day. We have more posts happening every day, more people on the platform every day. Creators are posting more than they ever have before. And it's not just about keeping up with culture, TikTok is driving it. It's fast, expressive, it's authentic. So our audiences live. There are 170 million active and engaged users in the US. Think about that. How many people are in the US who can afford to next 60 million? 170 million. I'll let you do the math. Bit of a buster is of that 170 million, over half of the people on our platform are over the age of 30. So we're considered a lot of times like a dance app or a Gen Z app. Half the people are over 30. Audience has been a full movies living on TikTok every day. Think about that. 5, 10 years ago, average movie was how long? About an hour and a half long? Now we're 2 hours. We're lucky it was 2 hours, right? 2.5 hours. If you told me 5 years ago, from waking up to going to bed, I would spend 2 hours consuming content across 15-second to 3-minute clips, that's probably crazy. And people spend, it has some time and attention. It opens up massive opportunity for brains to show up in those moments of curiosity, those moments of entertainment, decision making, and it's all in one place. So TikTok continues to drive the world's biggest cultural moments. The way I like to think about it is the cultural moments or the moments that matter start earlier, keep higher, and last longer on TikTok. So a couple of stats here. For the Grammys this year, views of posts around the Grammys are 10 times higher than they were last year. For the big game, can't say the actual name, the big game. That happens once a year. Football, keep the oblong shape all down the court. You can't. Once in a while, so I'm a football fan, so you can tell. Viewership of brand activations increased by 6.3x the day after. Think about traditional marketing. Again, I am a marketer. I work in an advertising agency for the first 10 years of my career. And when we talk about supporting the big game, it was a huge investment. One day, only maybe 30 seconds. Like we try to get some, traction in social media to help it last. Brands today post up their YouTube videos early of the commercials, but on TikTok, the day after is even higher than the day of. That's amazing. The Oscars viewership during the day of the Oscars on TikTok was 34% higher this year than last year. For small businesses, some of these moments may not be the big moments for you. We see similar trends on moments like Valentine's Day. When we're talking about some of the smaller gifting or smaller service opportunities. TikTok is reshaping how people discover, search, and make decisions. So TikTok is the strategy that helps one agent build an $89 million business in over 4 years. So that's real estate. You don't think always about TikTok helping with some of the service industries. So, it's pretty crazy. For Gen Z, TikTok is an search engine. I don't have stats to share today on this, but I can tell you it's starting to rival some of the competitor search engines, where just that little hourglass, little magnifying glass at the top, Gen Z is searching for things like what are the latest trends, what's the greatest makeup, things to do in Miami, how to hang a picture, everything. Insurance. What an unsexy vertical. But it's changing the image. TikTok make it cool again. One of the examples in the video that was not a podcast was Spot Pet Insurance. Again, he has a little bit of an advantage because who doesn't love a picture of a dog or a cat on TikTok? That's come on, let's be honest. But he is about insurance for cats and dogs and animals. It's amazing the kind of growth that you can see for industries like insurance. One of my favorite things about the story is he actually had a dog as a child on TikTok. Couldn't make it into the video with that cut. We didn't have enough time but what gold? Lastly, TikTok is wiring Gen Z's money brain. I don't know if y'all have seen this duo up here. I forget their name off the top of my head, but they make this funny skits about HR and put them to pop music. They rewrite pop music lyrics. It's a good time. And this is a company that is really focused on helping to drive leads around HR and finance. So again, capturing intent, capturing interest in a fun and interesting way. So TikTok is where businesses take off. For brands looking to scale, TikTok is a launch pad. We've seen businesses go from startups to sell out, thanks to platform native strategy. But it's not just about one hit, it's about long-term success. So this is a very simple slide, but I love it because it talks about from pull to push. Discovery drives decisions. Consumers aren't speaking out products in the same way. The onus is no longer on them to initiate the journey. The onus is now on brands. There's endless hyper scroll on the For You page, and this new world of products comes to them. It's less about them having to search so much, them having to go out and seek. It's about, hey, my feed, because it's tailored to me, I'm seeing this relevant content that's most important to me. My For You page is different from your For You page. I follow stuff like the Excel championships, lots of dogs. I want to be a gardener. Though I did lose a plant once for 3 weeks. That's a whole story. I'll tell you later if you're interested in know how you lose a plant. I did. Needless to say, it's dead. The result of this is instant discovery and community-driven validation. How many people have tried something or bought something because of TikTok? Raise your hands. Yes, earlier we were all talking about my little flair. All of this came from TikTok. I'm going to keep this PG since I'm being streamed up there. A couple of these have some words I don't want to share, but I got a little flair here that says, only cried a little today. Life's stressful. That's a little award. I love it. Got a goldfish with a shark hat on. It says, mindset is everything. There's little reminders every day, and it's perfect for me. I saw that was there. I have to get it. So talk about search. So TikTok is an itinerary building search engine for communities to find experiences that fit their needs. This is a little bit about destinations, the examples here, but what to do in Nashville, travel essentials in Europe, where to eat in New York City. It is defining the places you go and the things you do. And what's so interesting about it is it gives us experiences and it gives us a bird's eye view of what to expect. A great example is my mother wanted to do something special for my nephew, and she kept getting all of these TikToks about butterfly release. So she lives in East Texas, got a 2-hour drive from Dallas. We went to Dallas to do this, and she wanted to see that all on her grandson's face, because there were all these TikToks she kept seeing of these really excited 7 or 8-year-olds who are releasing butterflies. Through that, she did some additional search for where to stay, other things we can do. Let's be honest, releasing a butterfly takes about 30 seconds. So you're gonna go for a whole weekend, what do you do? And I love that story because it's my mother who's 61 years old who decided, hey, because of this really cool content that I'm seeing, I'm gonna do an entire event for the family around it. Sorry, I'm losing my voice a little bit. In Austin, we call it the pollination. I've got some pretty severe allergies going on. Come with me to New York. So making decisions is no longer a solo mission. This is not new. Like we always have known with third-party validators, like reviews, things like trust, and Google reviews are extremely important. And what's unique about TikTok is it's not just about having that great review, it's about seeing and experiencing the creator or seeing and experience the reviewer to build that added layer of trust. I see you, much like when you meet someone in person, right? Or you meet someone on Zoom, it's much different than when you get an email, right? You get an email, you get a text, sometimes you're like, who is this person? What are they saying to me? But if you see that person and you see their body language, it builds an additional trust. And discovery has changed. So why a purchase has changed across communities and creators. So trust is a big currency, with social proof being extremely powerful. 72% of users say they're discovering more local and new brands through TikTok than any other platform. 58% say the content ads they see here feel more relevant. That means brands aren't just being seen, they're resonating. This is emotional resonation, relevance, resonation, is that word? And it drives real behavior. So the two things we talk about in marketing are emotional benefit and having the kind of psychological, rational benefit of this is something I need, but this is also something I want. 88% of SMBs that use TikTok report seeing a performance lift. And 9 out of 10 businesses that track ROI see positive results. So it's where businesses are seeing transformative growth. I love this slide. You don't have to have big communities to be successful. Your community is important. You want to find your community, you want to nurture your community, you want to listen to your community, but you don't have to have a ton of followers to be able to increase your sales and promoting your products and services on TikTok. 86% of 4,000 followers or fewer agree with that statement. When business sold out of a product after promoting it on TikTok, 71% of 4,000 or less followers. I used to say that's a great problem to have, and when I spoke to several small businesses, they're like, that's a horrible problem to have, put it on a cash flow, and I can't pay bills, they're like, okay, sorry about that. But if you're gonna have a problem still in here, that's one of the better ones to have. So you just saw a video about Olivia and Best. They were in that non-podcast video. Olivia and Best, I love their story. They are 2 women who work on Wall Street, who quit their jobs. They said, hey, we want to build an app for women to build wealth, specifically younger women. We feel like it's not a lot of opportunity for them to understand jargon, to understand how to build wealth. So they built the Olivia and Best app. You've seen them, they're actually the face of their advertising, the face of the channel, and they went from 250,000 downloads to over 1 million in less than a year. Extremely powerful. So some key takeaways. TikTok is fueling the next wave of growth for U.S. small businesses. In 2023, TikTok drove $15 billion in revenue for U.S. small businesses. There's no reason people in this room can't get in on that. $15 billion. All of you have the right to make money, and we're here to help you figure out how to do that. And so your audience lives in new ages. 170 million active users, and so businesses go to discover and take off. And one of my favorites, 90% of businesses tracking ROI or statement return. I promise this. We got a $1 million TikTok ad credit giveaway. Trying to give away money, Paul. Don't let it pass up. This ends on Saturday at midnight, since CST time. Go to TikToksmallbizfest.com. You see the Small Biz Fest there with BIZFEST. TikTok Small Biz Fest, doing it for y'all as well. We are going to have 500 businesses that will get $2,000 in ad credits, one support from some of the same folks that are going to be up there to help us today to get started, whether that be on ads itself, to use those funds as a boost, or other questions you might have about shops, other questions you might have about TikTok in general. So that's it for me. Happy to stop for a few questions. So, stop for a few questions, but also happy to move on. Is there any questions? All right.
Many. Many, but let's see what we're here.
Do you have any here? Yes. All right. So I'm happy to invite to the stage, quote unquote, our wonderful.
Hi, everyone. Ooh, clicker, fancy. Happy, what is today? Thursday. Okay, yeah. I'm coming all the way from Austin, but it's a pleasure to see everyone here today. I have been with TikTok for the last 3.5 years, which seems like a lifetime, but I'm so excited to speak to you all today about all of the ever-growing opportunities that we have in order to empower businesses like yours to connect with the right audience, okay? And so to kick off, that's not the slide.
Oh, I think it's the opposite.
There we go. All right. Hello. Okay, so the biggest thing that I want to talk about first is with TikTok growing so much, our audience is continuously growing to the level to which people spend on the platform approximately 90 minutes in growing a thing, right? That's the length of a movie, which I don't know about you all. I don't have time to watch a movie every day, but the good thing about looking at this from a business perspective is people are on the platform for that long, which means you have a great opportunity to connect with them. So how does TikTok empower you to connect with the right people, not just, it's not them watching TV, it's all of it as well, okay? Oh my gosh. One minute. Here we go. Okay, so the big way that we do this is via lead generation. Now, lead generation comes in a variety of different ways. There is two. Okay. Here we go. Lead generation comes first in our lead instant form, which is actually something that you view within the application. This empowers people not to actually leave the app while they're consuming content. There's also the web form, which is actually really empowering for businesses that do a little bit more nuance with their clients, potential clients. And there's also messaging app, which is really cool back here. So there's three big ones, and there's one last one I'm saving for again. Okay. So with instant form, the beauty of this is as people are consuming content on TikTok, they're never going to have to leave the platform in order to submit their information. Where does this make sense? If you are a business that only needs really some high-level contact information, let's say just name, email, potentially phone number, this is where this specific product makes the most sense. Think if you're a realtor, things of that nature, that's going to help you significantly in order to get that information without having them leave the app and put that information while they continue to consume all that content that they know they like. Okay? Amazing. The next is the web form. Now, where does this make sense? If you're a business that needs a little bit more nuance in the information that you're gathering from your potential clients, this is where it makes sense. So this could be more like an insurance company, things of that nature. We need a little bit more information about what potential claim they're asking for, so that whenever you reach out to these businesses or to these clients, you can have a little bit more of a structured conversation rather than just an introduction. Okay. There's not a world where there's one solution that's better than the other, and I want to be really clear about that. It's just what is better for you. That's we can talk from the session here today about aligning on what we think is best for your business. It will have a lot of those. It's just how much nuance are you needing from your potential clients from the get. Okay. The next one is messaging apps. This one is newer and it's really exciting because this empowers you to message your potential clients via TikTok directly. And we also integrate with some third-party messaging apps as well. So if people prefer to communicate via other messaging platforms, they can too. Okay. This empowers you to have that conversation right there and then, which limits the fatigue of people trying to think and consider about whether they want to consume your product or services, and it enhances your ability to maximize on that business right there and then. Okay. Amazing. This one's really fun, and it was introduced within the last couple months. So this next solution is called click-to-call ads, and what that is the potential client that you may have has the opportunity via the ad that they see to call your business right there. Okay, so we've got a step level above just messaging to where they can actually have a genuine conversation with you. Again, there's not one solution that's better than the other. It's just what do you think would make the most sense, given not only the bandwidth for you to speak with potential clients, but also the bandwidth of understanding how much messaging you can as well. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna take a pause right here. If there's anything that you remember about lunch on today, it's Smart Plus. Okay. That's it. Like all the solutions that I just talked about are great, but if there's anything that you're going to remember from today's presentation, it's Smart Plus. So what is Smart Plus? It is an AI-powered automated tool that's going to help you structure your campaigns to get better results. Okay. There's a whole side on this, but it's really important. I can't stress it enough. Now, Smart Plus can be found in a variety of different ways. We just talked about the fourth solution that we're about to hear, which is lead generation. But our AI-powered campaigns can empower you in both catalog ads, web campaigns, and app campaigns as well. Okay, so I'm going to be focusing more on how Smart Plus is beneficial to the system in general, but know that whether you are leveraging app, web, catalog, lead gen, it's there to help you, okay? So why is it better? So because it's AI powered, it's going to do all of the hard work of like, who should I target? How many, what should I do? Things of that nature. It's going to do that for you, which I understand and I empathize might be a little scary from the get-go, because we're like, how is an AI going to know where this is better than me? But when we have tried it, it's done amazing. Okay? And so not only is it doing all the heavy lifting upfront for you, but it's giving you time back. And this is the biggest opportunity cost. I would say that it's really beneficial, especially as business owners like yourselves. Time is money. And it's a lot to manage a campaign, understand the nuances of when should I increase my budget, when should I add a new creative, when should I change their target, should I make what are best practices? We're there to help you every step of the way, and we're happy to do so. But smart things get all that in the background to empower you to have more time to connect with more clients and things of that nature. Okay, so that, in my opinion, is the biggest opportunity with Smart Plus because it does all that heavy lifting for you. It's saved, time saved, of course, creative optimization. This was really big. It actually leverages out of the creatives that you submit, which ones are performing, and that's all right. So the rate, which basically means when a creative / video pops up into someone's feed, are they willing to look at that ad, or are they gonna just swipe right past it, right? And it optimizes for the highest click-through rate ads for your campaigns, okay? So it's consistently evolving, super fun, super cool, and there's making it remember from today in Smart Plus, okay? I mean, so search ads. Fun fact: I'm not wearing a top today. Is it because I didn't want to wear one, or because I forgot to pack one? We'll never know. But had I worn a tie today, I would have gone on TikTok to understand how to tie because I always forget, right? And so people are doing this every day. They're searching, how do I get this? How do I buy this? Which car should I get? There's a lot of search happening on TikTok, and it's ever evolving. If people are searching for products, imagine if you sell ties. If I were to look that up this morning and you're a tie company, your app would pop up. And I would be like, oh, it's a cool tie. Maybe I want to buy one for the next time. Or maybe it's a tie that I don't have to tie at all. It's a flip, right? There's a lot of opportunity with all of the nuance and attention that TikTok has right now with our viewership. Search ads is another way to connect where it's the most relevant. Okay. All right. The next step that I want to talk about was apps. So we've talked about lead gen, talked about search. I want to take a moment to talk about applications. It's really a big opportunity within the app space for TikTok. And I want to highlight that it's not only in downloading set apps, but it's what happens there after. A big opportunity within the app space is lifetime value of an app. So think of like an app that you have a subscription for, maybe annually, monthly, things of that nature. The TikTok app solution now focuses on a funnel strategy, so we can be more high level and get more granular within the app downloads. And it's doing really well. For example, the team that I manage, we have a lot of really lead-in app clients. I just talked to one last week. And he quite literally made me download the app while we were on the call, and I was like, it's a fun game. But yeah, there's a lot that helps in the app space. Amazing. So we've talked about the opportunity that TikTok has to connect you with clients. We've talked about different products that can help you engage with them more efficiently. And we've talked about some automated solutions that can do all that and looking for you. Now what I want to talk about is the partner spotlight, and once you've already generated those campaigns, whether they are AI powered or not, how do you more seamlessly capture those leads into your CRM? And so we have some partners that I want to highlight. First one being Zapier. And Zapier is like the bridge of connecting the leads from TikTok into your CRM. And in this example that we have here, a HubSpot. And so in this world, if you were to leverage both of these partners, all the leads that you would generate from that campaign would automatically be reflected into your HubSpot CRM to empower you to more efficiently contact those individuals. Okay. A lot of great things happening with these different integrations, but the biggest nuance here is it's giving you time back. So there's the theme. We're going to use time back with the AI power. We're going to use the time back with the integrations with the partners that we have in order to do more efficiently outreach to businesses. Okay. All right. Now we're going to take a step and talk about the different case studies, how different clients have leveraged our products and have seen a lot of great success. The first one I want to talk about is Momentum Insure. They are a home and car insurance. So they leveraged creative-led content strategy. We'll talk about creative in another session today and how important that is. But because they led with that creative forward approach, they were able to achieve 43% higher lead to quote ratio, which their goal was 38%. Not only that, they actually achieved 7.3% higher lead to quote than other platforms, which is even better, which ultimately led to 36% increase in their revenue generated versus other platforms. Okay, so with a lot of numbers here, a lot of words. Basically, what that means is with the help of a creative-led strategy, within TikTok, they were able to connect with more people that were higher quality and therefore generated more business. Okay. Last one that I want to talk about is a mortgage solution financial. I love houses. We use Pathway application so much. And this specific client, they focus on empowering people to connect with vendors for home ownership. With that, with leveraging TikTok, they were able to increase their conversions to 32,000, which is insane. And this number is also crazy. It increased their reduction in lead response rate to 7,200%. So they were able to connect with more people, and there's less time between that time to connect with them with the different integrations that we have with this. Okay. Woo, that was a lot. Happy to talk to everyone later today about how to leverage these different opportunities. But again, pleasure to talk to everyone and be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the appreciate that. So one of my favorite sessions is this session where we're going to talk about TikTok Ads Manager. Because I love our presenter. She is one of the smartest, most talented people. I keep telling everybody, I'm one of those people that just needs to know a button push to make my life easier. She can answer that question all the way down to very detailed technical questions. So thrilled to have her. But I also learned something not just about Ads Manager, but about how to do marketing. So I'm thrilled to introduce our one, Cindy Gim, to talk to us through TikTok Ads Manager. Hi everyone, my name is Cindy, and I'm a product marketing manager with TikTok Ads Manager. Excited to be here today. In today's session, we will be highlighting the core features to ensure you have capabilities to tap into the power of our user base. And TikTok Ads Manager is what we consider an all-in-one platform where you can do creation, managing, and editing campaigns in one place. And as you see high-performing campaigns and scale those, you want to grow your business using TikTok ads. The context for today's session will kick off with making sure everyone is able to create an account if you don't have one already. And then an overview of the platform, including creating, managing, and analyzing. And a bit later in the presentation, we are going to take a minute to talk about Ad Assistant, which is our AI-powered chatbot that can do more simple tasks for you to manual tasks of editing and making changes. If you don't have an account yet, make sure you have your TikTok for Business account. And once you have that, make sure you go to TikTok Ad Manager. You do have to create a separate account for that. As long as you have your TikTok as your account set up, your payment, info in there, and then you have your ads into the promoter. As an overview, when you log into TikTok Ads Manager, you will land on the dashboard. And this is considered a homepage, where it gives you a snapshot of the performance. You can see account balance, spend, which ad groups are live, which are not delivering. And then you'll see kind of a performance chart and how things are trending overall in terms of about key metrics, your costs, your impressions, the number of times an ad is being shown. If you look at the top navigation bar, you'll see dashboard, but also campaigns section where you'll be able to create, manage any campaigns, tools for audience, and tracking. You have analytics for more custom reporting and GMV Max, which is a commerce solution. And just diving a little bit deeper into each of these sections, so the dashboard will show you your active campaigns, your spending, some charts with trends, campaigns where you'll view and edit your campaigns, your ad groups, your ads. And I'm going to highlight the tools section, which is where you'll see that tracking we were talking about, which is about sending the data from your website or app and what's happening on there from your users and customers and sending that back to TikTok so we can learn from those events. Analytics will do more reporting, and GMV Max is our automated commerce solution. We have this TikTok shop. So just so I know the campaign structure, if any of you are coming from another app platform, stay with familiar. It's really for every campaign, you can have multiple ad groups or subgroups where you can set the audience targeting, your bidding, your budget. And the ad is really been creative and visual messaging what the user will see. If you look at the example on the right-hand side, you see an example of how the campaigns are set up for a website, this app, and then at the ad group level, thinking about what creative and what messaging, even what offer, if you're doing special promotional offer, if you want that particular audience to see, so maybe like reduce the sales, maybe different audience, non-heavy sale. And then one thing to note is that when you do have separate campaigns, maybe there is a difference between the two, so you're not just completely duplicating exactly the same campaign. There's overlap in the competition with yourself. For campaign preparations, we recommend a number of key steps before you go live with your ads. If you have an app and you are looking to promote your ad, make sure you get that app in TikTok Ads Manager so you know which ad to promote. Creating a TikTok pixel event API, or we have a partner integration like Shopify about your website. You do want to make sure that events are being passed. And what that means is when someone comes to your website and signs up or asks for a complete form, this tracking will allow us to know which users did that, so we can find more users who perform that action and be engaged. So the more events, more data, the faster we learn that the better essentially your campaign performance will be. For those of you selling physical products, you can consider a product catalog, which you can then promote your items directly through your ad campaign. And if you're interested in a TikTok shop, you would need to go to a separate platform called Seller Center. So you want to go to Seller Center, create your TikTok shop. And once you create the shop, you can go to TikTok Ads Manager, and then you can use ads to promote your shop. When you come to audience targeting, we do have what you would imagine to be more traditional audience targeting, like location and age, gender. But here we want to highlight a couple ad targeting options we think could be really helpful. One is custom audience. And this is where if you have a list of users and customers, you can upload it directly. And what you're doing when you set the custom audience targeting is telling TikTok that we want to find an exact match on the user and customers in the list with the TikTok user and only show ads to that user. So if you have a list of existing customers or users, or maybe they purchase their rings, and then now you want to maybe line of emphasis, and also target maybe product lines to existing user customers through custom audiences, because we're gonna tell us exactly who you want the ad to be shown. Some businesses might even choose to do a list of high-dollar customers and spending customers as a custom audience. A similar concept, but there is a difference, is a lookalike audience. And this is where when you set your custom audience targeting, you're trying to talk to look for users that are similar to those users in your custom audience. It's not going to be a direct one-to-one match. When you have a high-dollar customers or you have users, we can find and help expand your business and finding new users and customers based on the existing list. Here again for the events, making sure that data is connected with the website or your app, so we are getting that pass back. That's the only way we'll be able to differentiate which users are engaging with the site, the purchasing, their other leads, to make sure that connection is set up well so that data is being passed back. As for catalogs, you have an option here to promote your catalog in campaign. So if you see that toggle use catalog, you can go ahead and turn that on, and then it will pull up all the available catalogs that are uploaded into Ads Manager. And to do that, just go to the advertising manager and sales, go to the toggle and select catalog products you want to promote. For bidding and optimization, we want to make sure it's set up to select the right optimization goal for your business. And when you see optimization goal, it's really just the action you want your users and customers to take once they come to your website app. So for some businesses, that might be sign up. For others, it might be adding to cart as purchase, be viewing a product. All of that could be selected for your optimization goal, and you will see different options depending on what your objective is, what your outcome objective is. As for bid strategies, you can select a strategy that is more cost focused, where you specify a specific cost per result, where let's say you don't want to pay more than $25 for acquiring a customer. But there is a trade-off potentially in volume, so if you want to talk to very close to your cost goals, if you won't get as many users or customers, you'll meet that cost budget. In contrast, there is also a strategy to drive more volume or maximum delivery, and that's where you would tell us the budget that you would like us to spend, and we will spend the budget and drive as many volume of conversions and actions and users as possible, and it is a specific cost of this goal. On the branding side, it will be more about who and how many people are seeing your ad, as opposed to specific actions that are being taken. So this is where there will be a frequency cap, where the same person can only see an ad a certain number of times. It will default to showing ads no more than 3 times every 7 days, and with the ability to customize it. If you have a specific number in mind, you don't want the individual users to see ad more than a certain number of times. And as you're creating your ads and going through the execution flow, at the top, you will see a toggle and we'll ask if you want to use the top account to deliver ads. What that is asking is whether or not you want to use smart ads. And smart ads is really unique to TikTok ad format and feature where you can promote, pay to promote and boost your organic posted content that you have in your regular TikTok account. So if you want to use smart ads, you just go ahead and turn on that toggle. If you want to run more what you consider traditional ads, like see it on websites and apps, they all look creative. Yourself that's not necessarily organic post, you just turn off that toggle and then just continue to proceed with creating the campaign. One tip is that when you name your ads, think about how many campaigns you also need running, because it can still get messy, with running a lot of campaigns in terms of which promotion it is, which region, if you're local, even whether it's new versus customers, just involved in making sure things organized and you'll be able to get lots of results also a little cleaner. For creating ads, you will be able to select how you want your business to be represented. As for ad formats, I will call out our top view format, which is a full screen video that opens when a user logs in to TikTok on their app. And this is considered premium inventory, where it's a great way to increase your awareness and also reach the number of people who see your brand and your business. It will be a little bit more expensive, but we do think this is a really unique format that TikTok offers. For those of you going live with your ads, if you don't see the ads go live right away, give it a little bit of time. There is an ad review process that can take up to 24 hours. So it's still will run a number of checks to make sure everything is in advertising compliance. And for managing campaigns, on the campaign section, you'll be able to turn on and off campaigns, add some ads, make edits directly here. And this is where, as assisting our chatbot can help you do some of these tasks. You can ask commands such as, what are the top selling campaigns in the last 7 days? Or which campaigns have a cost per lead greater than $45? And so it's important to, of course, with the performance, make sure you are scaling the high performing campaigns and making any edits that you need for your business. As for analysis, that's where you can also use our chatbot to do simple calculations, but we do have a searching filter section in the top left to kind of deep dive which dimension, which campaign, and objectives you want to look at, and even export files with their dates. And if you want to do an analysis of that system, you don't even have to export any data and label for the task for you. And that brings us to the overview, bracket settings, specific features that we offer. And I'll be around later today, and I look forward to hearing your business and any questions about ads. We're going to talk with you as well. Thank you, Cindy. Sorry, but I figured out what to do with this. All right, can't have a day without your phone with your side. Thanks, Cindy. Hope you learned a lot. I know I did. One of the biggest tips that Cindy just shared that I think is important is when you're starting out, make sure that you have strong YouTube engines, because as you grow, it can become overwhelming. So I love that tip. Next, we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, creative. Creative is super important on TikTok. I'm going to let Justin kind of talk through that, speaker kind of talk through that. We have some really exciting things to share. And I want to welcome to the stage Justin Sinha.
Thanks, Lauren. Hi, everybody. My name is Justin. I've made a creative solution running marketing manager here at TikTok. And so, as Lauren mentioned, I'll walk you guys through all things creative here on the platform today. So, just at a high level to see what we're going to go through in the next 20 minutes or so. I'll go over at a high level why creative is so important in general, but why it's specifically so important on TikTok. From there, we'll move into certain aspects of what defines creative quantity and quality, which are two very key measurements on what we deem as how to be successful on the platform. And then from there, after talking about why quantity and quality is so important, then I'll talk to you about some of our solutions so that you have actionable next steps to be able to take creative into your own hands. One being our TikTok One Creator Solutions Creator Partnership Platform, and then moving to TikTok Symphony, which is our suite of Gen AI creative tools. So, just frankly, great creative has always been really great for business. Arguably, creative is probably one of the most important factors when it comes to advertising, not only because creativity will account for roughly 50% of incremental sales, but moving aside from baseline measurements, creative is also what defines you as a business. It's what people recognize you as, it's what people are drawn to, and that leads to long-term, more sustainable growth. And so building good creative is one thing, but then aligning that content into your marketing funnel on TikTok is the next step, right? And so I just wanted to kind of break this down for you guys at a high level, just because we know that creative on TikTok is very unique compared to other platforms. So when we're looking at the marketing funnel, if we're looking at the awareness section, this is where you want to be as authentic as possible. This is where you want to be very TikTok first, kind of incorporate that catch and shoot kind of mentality. Essentially, this is where you can hop on viral trends. You can add in humor, just to give people a little bit of sense of who you are and know that there's personalities behind your business. From there, when we move into consideration, that's what we call the edutainment, or combining education and entertainment to start to build trust and recognition with your brand. So that could be something talking about hacks, tips and tricks. Maybe that goes over pain points that are related to whatever your business will go ahead and solve for the viewers. From there, they can understand you more deeply as a business and recognize you guys as someone who they can trust. Then we move into the conversion portion, which is really to inspire the next steps, right? To inspire action. What is it that you want them to do after they've been able to understand what you are, who your business is, and what you can provide to them? That's going to be eye-catching, but that's also going to include things like maybe promotions or sales, maybe very clear steps as to why they should be actioning on it as whatever you want them to be doing. And so I'm just going to include this just to show you kind of the different approaches that you can take on TikTok. We've included some of the popular narratives that you can use in your ad strategy. Content like this is also readily available on our Creative Center. So the Creative Center is a standalone free platform for you to use. Essentially, it has all of the current trending topics, hashtags, videos in the US, and then as well as that, it also includes a lot of our creative best practices. If you want to get a little bit more unique, you can dive into other areas as well. And this doesn't necessarily just have to be ad specific. If you reference founder PPBEAT and blogging, that's actually one of my favorite ad formats to follow because it gives more of a personality to the brand. It's more of a name, a story, a way to humanize kind of who you guys are and what you do. And then along with that too, like I said, it doesn't just have to be paid ad strategy. A lot of this content can be used in your organic strategy as well, as we always recommend to combine paid and organic when you're advertising on TikTok. And so when we're looking at TikTok, like I mentioned, the opportunity to capitalize on the platform is a very unique scenario, right? We offer the ability to kind of, doom scroll, as we would call it, the ability to engage with content at a very high speed, the ability to share it at ease as well. And then obviously we can see the ability where you can see products or services or videos in general just being able to go viral, in the nature of the quality or the engagement of the actual video content. And so when we're looking at maximizing your return on investment, we're really looking to maximize your return on creative. And historically, we've had three main strategies to do so. I'm going to focus on the first two today in a little bit more detail. But the first one is to show up more, right? That's building more content at higher duration so that you can keep up with you can combat this creative fatigue while also making sure that you're reaching large scale communities and niche communities as well. From there, we also want to build resonance, right? We want to build content that is both engaging and entertaining. We want to build content that resonates with the audience and then gives them that actual next steps to move down the conversion funnel that we talked about. And then lastly, I mentioned this a little bit in our narration POV slide, but basically being able to combine paid and organic, right? Being able to take strategic approaches, not only to push people through your advertising funnel, but also posting organic content so that you can build loyal followings and have your brand have that level of recognition, trust, and long-term growth. And so as I mentioned, we're going to focus on the aspects of showing up more, and we're going to focus on the aspects of building resonance. That leads into what we call the 2Q framework here at TikTok. So that's leveraging what I talked about, creative quantity and creative quality. When we're looking at quantity, we're looking at volume because it keeps ads fresh, keeps ads entertaining, it keeps them visible, and it helps you combat creative fatigue, which we can see as a very common pain point here at TikTok. With creative quality, we're really looking at quality and intention-grabbing content. Again, being able to make it very actionable, making sure that everything pops, being able to leverage a lot of our best practices. So there's constant movement, and you're really shifting the audience's eyes to what you want them to see in that first 3 to 7 seconds of the video. So when we're looking at quantity, we're really, like I mentioned, looking at visibility. So the importance of quantity in the first aspect is the more quantity of creative that you have, not only are you going to be more visible on the platform, But oftentimes we see advertisers that are able to maintain healthy levels of quantity will boost their overall conversions and be able to lower their CPAs. And so when I'm talking about showing up more, you guys are probably wondering like, what's kind of a good range or what's a best practice for that. So with performance campaigns, we typically recommend 5 to 7 creatives in a single campaign running with a weekly refresh of those creatives. Obviously, it might change if you start to see creative fatigue setting quicker or longer term, but on average, that's what we would recommend. That's the best way to maximize your ROAS based off of what we've seen in our internal data. And then with brand campaigns, having greater than three creatives in a single campaign refresh twice a week is the best way to increase the highest level of brand association. In a similar breath, when we're looking at volume, another aspect of that is variety. So being able to bring a different set of content to your brand is very important. Not only just because that's what we recommend, but 64% of our viewers on TikTok say that they prefer to work with brands that can produce a variety of content. If you've ever been on TikTok, I'm sure you've probably gotten into scrolling. Very rarely would you want to be seeing the same type of content twice, let alone from the same brand. And so when we look at advertisers that have been able to master the ideas of variety, we see them have great increases both in their overall engagement of the video as well as the time to watch. And we sum everything up into kind of a magic formula, right? Like I said, for performance campaigns, we're looking at maintaining 5 to 7 creative assets in a single campaign to maximize our ROAS. How do we go about doing that? The first area is going to be variety. So that's leveraging user-generated content. Could be professionally great content if you have some more polished content that you'd like to repurpose. And then AIGC content. So again, we'll talk a lot about the UGC content and the AIGC content a little bit later on. We're also looking at versatility, right? So various formats. We see increases in conversions with advertisers that are able to leverage both image and videos in their campaigns, and sometimes even being able to leverage both image and videos in a single creative. It's a different way to be engaging. It's a different way to stay out on the platform, and especially leveraging something like carousel ads, where the viewer actually has the control to look through the ads and see exactly what they want. Sometimes it's a very big preference to a lot of viewership. And then lastly, we're looking at versions. So just being able to create varied formats, right? We talked about why variation is so important. And then we see with a lot of our advertisers that are able to maintain that creative health, when they're able to make at least 3 strategic edits to their creative, it significantly enhances the performance in their full content. Shifting gears a little bit, moving from quantity to quality, but in a very similar sentiment. When we're talking about quality on TikTok, our Northern Star metric for this is the click-through rate. So CTR gives us the most encompassing idea of if it's the creative that you're making is engaging, if they're moving down the funnel. And so obviously similar to quantity, the importance of quality is because as you're able to increase the quality of your creative, again, we do see an increase in the overall conversion rates for a lot of our clients. And then obviously we see increases in CPA. So how do you build quality TikTok creative? Because quality can be a little bit more subjective than quantity. With quantity, it's something that's immediately actionable. You either have enough quantity or you don't. If you don't have enough quantity, you simply make more. But what defines creative quality outside of the CTR, right? And that really goes back to leaning on the TikTok best practices. Hence why I emphasize the importance of something like the Creative Center, especially if you're just getting started. That's where we have our creative codes. Again, that's where you can see what's trending, so you can see what people are actually engaging with. And then when you're testing and learning, or you're maybe trying to refine your creative strategy, just kind of break it down to the basics, right? We're looking at the hook. Maybe we're looking at the call to action. We're looking at the pacing. We're looking at how it's resonating with the audience, right? So you can lean on these best practices to find ways to test and learn and try to maximize your overall creative quality. And so with that, obviously, I stress the importance of the quantity and the quality of your creative, right? But I want to give you guys actionable next steps. So with that, let's dive into some of our creative products, starting with TikTok One. So this is the home to our creative partnership solutions. Eventually, the plan for TikTok One is to have all of our creative products and solutions on a single platform. So right now, if you go to TikTok One, you will see a direct link to our Creative Center. We're eventually hoping to have that fully integrated into the platform. But for right now, the main integration that we have on TikTok One is our creator marketplace. So essentially, this is where our 2 main creator partnership solutions live. and then where you can access them in a form of either one-to-one connections with creators, or you can actually submit briefs to try to recruit creators at scale to build creators at 101. And so why is this important? Why are we looking at TikTok creators, or why are we mentioning this, in the kind of the first breath? Because TikTok creators not only drive results, but they essentially set the culture on TikTok. A lot of you that are familiar with the platform probably have some favorite creators that you follow, and with those creators, you've probably seen them promote certain products. And so for us and our advertisers on TikTok, we see that almost 93% of our clients are shifting budget to creator marketing in 2025, just because they understand the importance that creators can provide as far as pushing clients down the conversion funnel. TikTok is also rated #1 by many as the #1 creator platform. And with that, we also see that a large portion of our users are more likely to purchase from brands that are working with creators that they either support or believe in the representation of. And so, what are some of the benefits? What are some of the benefits of the creator marketplace before we dive into some of the more details? So, with one of our programs, you have the ability to contact creators one-to-one that live in the creator marketplace. With that, you can be very intentional in your search parameters for that. So you can filter by their industry category, by product category. You can filter by the price that it would cost to work with them, their location, things of that nature. So it allows for a lot of this intentionality. Also with that, with both of our creator partnership programs, you're really tapping into what's trending, right? You're working with creators on a platform that have historic knowledge of TikTok as a creator, and they've worked on the platform with us before. Also, you have flexible campaign workflows. So what I mentioned first is you can obviously search the creator marketplace and send out direct invitations at a one-to-one basis. And then with our creator content at scale program, you can actually go in and submit a very inclusive brief with details of your service, what you're looking to accomplish, what the creative strategy and vision looks like, and then from there, allow the creators that partner with you to kind of take that into their own hands and build creative for you again at scale with more volume. And then with this too, you'll also have access to all the advanced reporting and insights, right? So being able to do that, you can see what kind of creative that you've built on CTO that is doing well in your ad campaigns. And then whatever you see with the performance boost from CTO, you can go ahead and maybe use that to refine your creative strategy, right? If you see a certain type of brief that's working through TikTok one, maybe you want to continue submitting more briefs like that. And maybe the ones that we don't see the performance that we're looking for, we either look to refine them in a different way, or maybe we look to just kind of move on and kind of build a new strategy. And so from there, I'll shift gears here a little bit and talk more about TikTok Symphony. So Symphony is our suite of generative AI creative solutions, essentially made to help you ideate and produce creative with more variation or iteration. And so I think one thing that's really important for us to kind of touch on when we're talking about Symphony, or we're just talking about generative AI in general, we're talking about creative, is that we would never ask you guys to completely abandon whatever creative strategy you currently have to switch it out with pure Gen AI creation, right? We look at Gen AI creation as something that should be a supplement to your creative strategy. It should be supporting you. It shouldn't be something that's doing everything for you 0 to 1. So it's really important that we emphasize the importance of human creativity, with the content that you're producing as an advertiser, with the content that you might be producing with creators, but using AI efficiency maybe to help iterate and build that volume that we've talked about. And so one of the core areas of the Symphony suite is our Creative Studio. So with the Creative Studio, this is where we have basically all the tools that can take your creative production from 0 to 1. So we're looking at something like being able to generate videos directly with TikTok. So if you have your product, if you have like a service solution and you'd like to enter that information about your business, maybe you have a few marketing photos or videos that you'd also like to upload as well. You can essentially upload all that directly into that tool, and then it'll help you generate a series of videos that format well on TikTok. And then from there, you're welcome to dive into the editor of those set videos and edit them as much or as little as you'd like. So you can change as much as you can change the sound, you can change the voiceover, you can change the music, you can change the captioning, you can change the accent of the person speaking. So A lot of details that can go into actually generating a lot of those TikTok videos, but again, it's building a structure that's very centric to TikTok and has engaging elements that people typically choose to interact with on the platform. Just some other handles on that as well. Like you can also play around with some of our AI avatar tooling. So if you'd like to have somewhat of an AI spokesperson, you can use that to lift up any sort of scripting through the avatar. You can also use our AI translating and lip dubbing tool. So if you take a video recording yourself, we actually have the ability to manipulate that and change it into a different language. So it'll take kind of like your vocal inflection and movement of your mouth and basically match it up with different languages if you'd like to target in different areas, essentially allowing you with a little bit more of a global sense of targeting your creative. You also have other abilities just to like refresh creative. So if you have a TikTok, maybe that's been performing really well, but you're seeing some ad fatigue, you can push it into our refresh tool, and essentially it'll re-TikTokify it and switch out certain editing elements. Again, it could just be something as simple as the music or the captioning, and then from there being able to just produce similar types of content, but just in different variations. From more of an ideation standpoint, we have what we call our Symphony Assistant. So this lives directly in the Creative Center. Again, just another reason why it's important that you guys check out the Creative Center. But essentially, it's our virtual assistant that will help you synthesize information that's on the Creative Center. You can ask it questions about what's trending, or maybe you want to build ideas for a certain topic or for a certain service. You can basically do that. We also have a script assistant that's available within it as well. So it can help you generate scripts based off of certain pain points that it's finding on the Creative Center. You can enter your script itself and basically kind of conduct feedback. And then again, you're more than welcome to edit it as much as you want from the final product. This is just a kind of a little bit of an example. So we asked it for what's trending in beauty in the US. From there, it gives it, a general sense of, maybe some of the type of transformation videos that have been doing really well. It also has a list of pain points. So we can talk about pain points that people have been talking about in beauty. For someone that maybe has beauty products, they can kind of address that as an overall solution. So again, it's just a great way to be able to synthesize a lot of information from our Creative Center and help you ideate a lot quicker. Because if we can go from an ideation phase that takes maybe 5 hours before you start producing creative to something maybe under 1 hour, that's just a huge overall time saver that can help in either the overall creative production or other areas of operation of your business. And then here you can kind of just see how everything's laid out. Very simple, very straightforward. Very important to notice too that on Creative, Symphony Creative Studio and our Symphony Assistant is completely free to use. So when you go to the Creative Studio website, all it'll ask for you is to log in with your TikTok for Business email, and then from there, you're more than welcome to start producing creative with the assets that you have. And then just kind of some examples of how it works, right? So these are some scenarios. What if I have a video production asset? I can put those video clips and then basically add some of my business information to it to add context. And then I can push it through my generate TikTok tool. And then essentially from there, or Unix can select 3 or 4 different ads. And then again, from there, you're more than welcome to edit it as much or as little as you like. What if I have content that's not fit for TikTok? So maybe it's coming from a different platform. Maybe it's a series of photos. Maybe it's a high production video that maybe we just don't typically use on the platform. We can either throw that directly into the video editor and you can start manually editing it yourself. Or again, you can leverage something like the refresh tool. So you actually upload it into the refresh tool and then allow the platform to essentially TikTokify it. Again, in similar breath, if I have that polished ad, it's something I can throw to our refresh tool to essentially refine it to make sure that it's more fitting to TikTok. And then just another important note is that a lot of our Symphony features are also available in Ads Manager. So if you prefer to work end-to-end in Ads Manager, you're more than welcome to optimize with Symphony directly in the platform. My personal recommendation is that it's best served as kind of a last touch optimization phase. So if the creative's ready or the campaign's ready to go out and you're just reviewing creative and you feel like there's just something that you want to make a quick change to, then you can do so directly in the platform. And so just to kind of reiterate where you can actually try this for yourself, we'll have a station upstairs a little bit later where you guys can come check it out and play with it a little bit. But Symphony Assistant, again, is available directly in our Creative Center, totally free to use as well. And then Symphony Creative Studio is available on a standalone site. So if you just Google TikTok, Symphony Creative Studio, it should be the first to pop up. And then TikTok Ads Manager, Symphony also directly integrated into your Ads Manager flow. So if you log in there, you'll be able to access it under your tools section. any questions? I know I've through a lot actually, so.
Yes, I do. I do. Oh.
It's Symphony, can you export those creatives if you have a separate client that needs to approve it? You don't want them to have to log in and see it?
Yeah, it's actually recommended that you export it. You'll see it in the workflow, but typically, especially if you're doing something that has like an avatar narration, so you're seeing the avatar actually speak, it recommends that you export it even first because that's when you can see the more one-to-one like movement. It's a little bit harder to have the same quality on the direct website, so you can export it. We do recommend that you continue to use those creatives that are made through Symphony on TikTok because you export it. If they'll upload directly into Ads Manager, it'll have a watermark, a TikTok watermark. But if you're just sending it to a client just for approval, you can send it over and then still have access to it in Symphony and then upload it directly into your Ads Manager.
Hi, my question is, we are all here small businesses, right? But my question is about the growth of the brand with creativity, right? So we try to sell services, and we try to grow our brand through TikTok. But I personally see many accounts on TikTok that grow organically. And for what I understand, if you have a small business, you have to provide organic post reels and ads to grow. So, but I see a lot of accounts that people that dancing or doing funny things, like for example, big accounts like Clavier or Charlie D'Amelio. So they're just dancing and they grow in a way that we all know. So how small business can grow? I don't think that a small business can grow at that much. But I do understand that we need to be consistent, we need to have out there, we need to show up there and all that, we need to run ads. But how can we also grow that way organically? So with our own creativity without being dancing, doing fun sketch.
Yeah, I mean, great question. I think part of it comes down to what sort of image you want to set for your brand on TikTok. But we talked about, a little bit in the funnel, and we talked about some of the narration videos that we talked about as well. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be something like that that's fancy. It could be something, again, that's informative. We do see when you're really trying to build maybe a base level of following, following some trends or kind of adding some humor into it. Those are recommendations that we make because it humanizes the brand, especially for small businesses. We have like over 5 million small businesses on the platform, right? And people are always, very open and welcoming to want to support small businesses. I think it's just about understanding like the people behind the brand is also really important. That's why we stress the idea of organic growth. So it doesn't have to be like just fancy. It can be honest as well. It can be something about, again, like my favorite videos to watch are the founder POV or the blogging videos. So really taking audience on your journey and what goes into making your brand. Again, it adds a sense of resonance that we talked about and that importance. So I think being able to combine both, obviously, the data and it's not going to be exactly the same as like media creators trying to grow their brand, as they can kind of do whatever they want or just say kind of whatever lane they please. But yeah, if it's informative, if it's relatable, I think if it's honest and earnest, it can be something that is still entertaining, just not, that typical TikTok style of dance or flash. Sorry, just want to add more to his answer. If there was one standalone advice that we could give to make everyone go viral, we would have given it. And so what I always recommend when I speak to clients or small businesses is look at every organic post that you generate as a data point and try different things. Sometimes it's just as simple unboxing of a product. Sometimes it's talking about what you did that day and how your product helped. It's sometimes the things that you're like, really, this is what people liked, and you don't know until you post it. My biggest recommendation is to post consistently, but try different things. The beauty of TikTok is that the more polished a video is, the actually like the not as great performance that it receives. TikTok anchors on organic, transparent conversation type of creatives. And so the more that you can post within that wavelength, you'll start to understand with data of, hey, how many views did this get, how many shares, how many saves, how many comments, to better understand what your audience likes the most. And then you can leverage different products within TikTok like Spark Ads, which you can leverage an existing organic video as an ad, because you already now have a higher level of confidence in what's going to work, because you already have some friction on the organic presence towards an ad. If that makes sense.
What do you think about repurposing Instagram Reels to TikTok?
No. No. If content that works on different platforms isn't going to naturally translate into TikTok. And I know from y'all's end, it would be a much easier process, because why would you create 2 videos? Why not just resurface one video to the next? It just doesn't work, right? And so in order to save your time, your energy, the best recommendation that I can give is no. But what you can do, and what I've always recommended small businesses, as you are capturing content for a different platform, do it behind the scenes and make that a TikTok, right? Because TikTok anchors more on like organic, like tell me how your day is going or how, like, hey, it's
But that is also a problem because not everybody will be selling products. We are here,
Right,
but you understand that we are serving.
exactly. So you
So we don't have that type of vibe of talking or explaining or something like that. We have a service. I personally, I represent the Manhattan Chamber of Commerce. I'm not gonna have somebody there and talking about unboxing something. We don't unbox anything. So how can we be more personal when we are such an organization like that? So I feel like the visibility for services like us is minimized on TikTok rather than other platforms.
it's trickier, but I think
Yeah.
there's still opportunity there. And that's where my team focuses on empowering.
But
businesses.
here,
Exactly.
we want to change that.
Absolutely. It's just about finding the right audience. And the
Mm-hmm.
best way that you can do that is by continuously post organically. Once you find that audience, then you can optimize and then really dig deeper. But it's a tricky part,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just posting. And I would always encourage post things that you don't think people might like, and you'll be surprised. Hopefully, you'll be surprised, like, oh, they actually really resonated with how this process works or things like that.
Right.
Yeah, I would, on your point there about being a service and you're not unboxing anything, I challenge the perception that the platform is only for commerce goods. We have a lot of data that shows like FinServ, financial services, insurance do perform well. It might be your specific For You page that shows a lot of that content. In fact, there was a conversation I had earlier this year with one of our clients who, the horrible LA fires happened earlier this year. And they're saying, actually, content from my brain is not going to get surfaced because this is all people are talking about on TikTok. And it is a real thing. It was a real trend. It was an important cultural moment that showed up on TikTok. But when we look at the data, in fact, that vertical and that conversation was actually increasing. It was just what that person was seeing on their For You page. So for you specifically, and you're talking about what can I do for the chamber, I'd say you already have a wealth of knowledge. You have an entire group of small businesses that have gotten services. So we talk about founder POV, or we talk about what are the services that you guys are providing. A 20-second video of one of those businesses saying, I came to the chamber, I learned this is how it impacted my business, boom, done. or do a behind the scenes with them to say, here's how a chamber can help you go to the next level. Like you have that, maybe it's not possible, but like that's the type of idea. So maybe it's not unboxing the product, but unboxing your story.
Yeah.
What is your story you can tell?
It's a little bit complicated because
A little complicated because the chamber cannot endorse any brands. So that's the problem, that we can't really represent one business rather than another. So that's it's a little complicated. A service like us, we don't sell anything. The only thing that we can propose is our membership. But how many things we can do about our memberships? So, and that cannot be, we can have our membership manager talk about that, but that's all. The personal part of it is very complicated, but I don't want to talk about only my organization. So there are many businesses like us that have a similar issue.
I just wanted to touch on that real quickly. It's also about storytelling. So I work with a lot of nonprofits as well, a lot of states who actually do programs where they get people to come. When it comes to the Chamber of Commerce, it's all about the connection you have within your city or your state. So when it comes to advertising on TikTok, you want to storytell. Like, for example, there's a Chamber of Commerce out in Texas where their focus is on new businesses and supporting them and helping them grow within the community. So for like a TikTok, you would go into that video saying, this is us, this is how we support you, connect with us, this is what we're doing in the community, this is how we're helping businesses. Even when the chamber has events where it's like, we're giving away money, we're helping these businesses grow, we're teaching you guys more. You take all of that, you're able to put that into the content, and that's gonna resonate on its own outside of like your commerce, your big brands. There's a home for everybody on TikTok. It's more of just understanding your audience and how to best storytell to them. So in your case, for like a Chamber of Commerce, it's really about getting the message of how you're impacting all of the businesses across the city or the state that you're located in. And if you can do that and continue to do that day over day and share that message out there, you're going to grow organically, whether you're paying or not paying.
Right.
It's going to happen naturally. It may take time. It may not be as fast as you want. But what I can say is if you continue to push that storytelling of the message, it's going to resonate with your audience wherever they may be on TikTok.
One question. Last thing I'll say on this organic side is that yesterday we had a panel of businesses that was here that are actually members of the chamber. We're thrilled to have them, and a couple of things that came out from them talking about their organic growth was, we talked about a little bit today, bonding college, posting every day. One of them had a minimum of 5 days. One of them literally just has a camera that's up that just shows like a life of the day of her work. So like the life of the day of a chamber person. Here's all the things that this one human is doing, all day long to help you as a business, just that very organic stuff. And I would, a couple of tips that have come out through, this is the 10th time we've given this presentation. Different presenters say different things, but it really does come down to the quantity, making sure you're posting 20-second video, make it short, make it sweet. Really look at the pacing. Are you getting the hook out there really quickly? What's the thing that's going to capture people? Are you looking and using somebody to say, what are other trends and how can I apply that to my brand, my service, all of that? And those things really do help. I know you had a question, so I'm going to stop talking and let somebody else talk.
It's more, it's not a question, it's like what you just said, I'm sorry, I'm reading, but something that comes to my mind would be to involve your members. Of course, whoever wants to be on camera, or if they don't want to be on camera.
we cannot, we did not endorse members.
But they don't, like, even if they don't mention their business, just to understand what the benefits are for them to, no.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Let's brainstorm some more because I've done work with like political entities, things like that. We can't like endorse specific candidates, and so we'll talk about how we get there. But I think you bring up a good point. But what we're trying to say is there are different ways to do it, and we can help you. So let's brainstorm some more. Any other questions on creative? Oh my gosh, it's a lot of yes.
Sorry, just kind of going back to the slides, you have the comparison between performance campaigns and brand campaigns, and make sure you post 5 to 7 times a week versus under 3 times a week, or I think that's like right done for it. But I was wondering if you can expand on that, like what the difference is between those 2 types of campaigns, and also like, yeah, we just go back to the slide. If you can like expand a little more right now.
Here, okay.
Yeah, so performance campaigns are essentially gonna be something that's maybe like pushing you down like the conversion funnel. So if you're really trying to get them to like the next step, whether that be if you're trying to like maybe generate leads, and that's trying to get them to your lead form portion of like maybe the link to the website or anything like that. Brand is more associated with like being able to kind of recognize your product or your service. So if you've ever seen something similar like a top feed ad, where like if you log onto TikTok and the first ad that you see pop up is associated with, marketing the brand in its entirety, maybe not necessarily a specific service or a specific product with it, but more just kind of that brand recognition or that brand following. That's where we kind of mean by brand.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Asta, and I had this question. So as marketers, we often do funnel marketing. But in TikTok, the feed is very non-linear, and you showed in one of the slides the funnels to use. So I just wanted to know, how do we surface the message at the right time, like in TikTok? How should we be clear on that?
Do you mean like which specific message or like which time in the funnel?
Yeah, because the feed is so non-linear. So if you go to a For You page, you'll see different kinds of things, like someone doing a brand funnel ad and someone just posting a video. So everyone gets conversions in a way. So how do we surface our messaging at the right time? I just wanted to know.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially when you're first starting out on TikTok, it's important to kind of just follow kind of that linear functionality. I think I wouldn't call it like a mistake, but I think one of the things that people do on TikTok sometimes when they first start advertising is immediately moving down to the lower part of the funnel and immediately trying to move to conversion. So you're kind of skipping steps 1 and 2 without really kind of building an audience that you are able to see that's targetable on TikTok. So I think for you, if you're just kind of starting out with that, I would start with kind of just that base, like follow that linear functionality and start building content, one that's just authentic, very easy to do, and then start moving from there into, our mid and lower parts of the funnel with some of the creative strategy that we talked about. I think Milo's point as well, and if he wants to elaborate it, more than welcome. But I also think like pushing the organic content is really important, because if you're pushing out some of that fast and authentic kind of content, you see that it starts to perform well, and you start to see audiences that build around that. You can also then go back and spark those posts into an ad format, and then start boosting that to the communities that you see that are really engaging with it. So I would say that's also another approach. But yeah, if you're just starting out, definitely start with the initial just getting to know. Like, doesn't have to be like, you shouldn't be going for like an immediate conversion right when you go onto the platform. Wait until you actually build what that audience looks like, and then start to do that. And then I would say retroactively, you can go back with your organic content to constantly make sure that you're hitting all different levels of that funnel that we talked about.
Thank you.
One thing about it is Cindy will be there too, and she can go into your ads manager with you and show you all your targeting capabilities, based on which audiences see your different ads and what actions they take. So to really be based off of seeing exactly what Justin said, but then how you set up okay, so these folks did this, then what happens next on the funnel, and she can help you walk through that.
So you basically are recommending to start with organic posting, and then in future start pushing ads for the posting to retarget it, and in a way treat it like a funnel there.
I think it depends on your objective, right? But yes, like we've said earlier, like there are some brands that are fully organic, fully successful. I don't know if y'all heard about Boom Boom. I've seen them everywhere. The sticks that you read in there on Shark Tank. For the longest time, they were purely organic, and they've, I believe, just started to invest in ads. Don't quote me on that, but they're widely successful. And so we can talk more about specifically for your service or your product, your brand, how you do that. But I think it's different. But like the overarching answer is what Justin said, and then using the tools to say, if I see these audiences doing this, how do I retarget them with ads to make sure that they are going through the funnel and getting the most out of this activity?
Great, thank you.
Yeah, welcome. Any other questions? All right, well, I'm thrilled that everyone's chatting because next, first of all, thank you, Justin. Amazing content. I mean, it's a crowd pleaser. But the next, I'm glad everyone is chatting now because we're gonna do something a little bit different. We're gonna do some round tables. We're gonna ask you all to break up into groups. Camilo's gonna come back, excuse me, gonna come back and guide us through some conversations. I can sit up here and I can give you tips and tricks, but at the end of the day, it's sharing between businesses where some of the best ideas were sparked, some of the best knowledge sharing. Yesterday, we had some folks that were sharing like additional creator sessions, talking about ways that they use AI. One guy talked about how he saved 10 hours a week for doing things on different platforms. So we want to take some time to just share. So Camilo, I'm going to invite you to come down. And if y'all wouldn't mind to go ahead and kind of huddle up in different groups, something to talk will come to your group.
Do you want to sing this here?
It's like this string.
Yeah, we can sing. It's a little cold.
Mixed up if you don't want to do it, if you already know.
Oh, yes, that makes sense. I don't think there's. So I'm gonna move.
Okay, y'all. So this is we had a great conversation here today. And we get this canvas thing here set up. And hold on a second. Pops at it. Oops. There we go. And so that was really, a lot of information regarding businesses and how we could better use TikTok. You saw Nadia and some of the folks, and sharing about the Manhattan Chamber and using services and how that could be, how we can better use TikTok as businesses with services, especially like a photographer, myself, we do services. And but I did learn a lot today about how to connect on TikTok and how to build organically. And that should be the first place to start is building organically. So they're having group discussions. So I'm going to hang out a little bit with you guys, but I'm going to hang out over there with them
Okay.
and
All
take
right.
over the
Sorry to
group.
interrupt.
Sort of
So we'll
smoke.
throw some quick prompts out there, and I'll be walking between the two groups. But we just talked a lot about creative and how it's so pivotal into your success on TikTok. And so the first prompt that I'd like to better understand from everyone is if you are working with creators right now, how are you leveraging that? What success have you found? And then if not, is that something that you're open to?
Okay, so I'm gonna leave you guys. I might pop one again later for part two, but thank you for joining me today. I know that our Touch Base Daily has been a different time today, but I think this is worth it for those that are interested in TikTok business. Okay, guys, I will see you at the next, maybe for part two. We'll see. Later. Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and leave a comment on this video. I would love to hear from you. Thank you again. Until I see you next time.